Okay, so we finished parts of speech. We'll have we'll quiz on the next week. There's a review, okay, which I finished up by Wednesday night. It pretty much speaks for itself. You do the whole thing, and it's just kind of reviewing all the 8 parts of speech that we've done lessons over the last couple months, I guess. Creative usage on vocab, I say that's due by Tuesday night. Kind of give you a day off in a way. We're gonna use live class to do the presentations. I may or may not finish them all. I'm not really sure how long these are gonna end up, but we'll see. We'll make up one on Wednesday if we need to. And I've got all the slides, so we're all good there. All right, so an AP Classroom. Do these 2 things in this order, okay? I want to complete the assigned practice, so we had 2 sets of skills. We did a practice, now we've done the other 2 sets of skills. So we have a practice on those. It's kind of repeating the same poems, but different questions. Skills 5B, 6A, 6B by Tuesday night. And then watch actually, it's not 3 videos, it's only 2. It's a mistake there. And those are on writing about poetry, obviously, to kind of wrap up the unit before we do our assessments. So not only should you watch those and take notes, but use that as practice time, okay? Pause the video like they sometimes tell you to do. I think they do a little bit of that in these. There's Maui. And make sure to, write out a thesis, practice with it, and that'll help you get ready for Friday, okay? And a reminder, Unit 2 multiple choice and free response are gonna be Thursday and Friday. We're gonna use the usual Zoom session with phones. And if you're wondering if our Q will be the same thing, as in there'll be 2 pieces and prompts, and you're just gonna do 1 extended paragraph for each, with a clear defensive claim and at least 2 pieces of evidence. And quoted evidence is going to be ideal. Okay, so that should be all clear. Come off the screen share for a second. We are all here, so that is great. Maui's on his way in. Can we get a group who can volunteer to go first? Get it over with. And then if you can tell me that, then I'll open the slides to show to everybody while you guys talk.
My group volunteers.
All right, thanks, Mitchell. Hold on just a sec here. I'll get that open. Okay, you guys were Harlem, right? Yeah. I got it. Everyone has a last name on here except Mitch. Okay, everybody seeing that? And just in case I miss your face, if you could just say, hey, this is so-and-so as you go, that would be great. Good to go.
Harlem.
Make sure you're unmuted, of course.
Spencer, did you want to read yours?
That's only Title 5.
Hold up a sec here. Something weird's happened with the audio. Okay. Can you guys still hear me? Nod heads. Okay. Is that Mitchell talking before? Okay, take it away, guys.
Harlem by Katrina Weber, Emma Stinghoff, Adam Bates, Mitch, and Spencer Schoening.
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrup sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
Yes, sorry. Is that Spence talking? You guys are going to need to speak up. I don't know if you could, like, the audio is barely coming through.
Yeah. And the speaker is someone who has just given up on their dream and is wondering what happens to it. The occasion is he just had like a dream, like aspiration, wonder what happens to everybody who has given up on a dream, and the tone was questioning.
Next slide.
A dream deferred is compared to a dry raisin in the sun, a sore, rotten meat, syrup sweet, and
Okay,
a
Katrina, I can't even hear you. I don't know what's going on with the audio here. Now I can't get in. I'm having all kinds of tech problems here. For some reason, your audio is coming out of my computer speaker, even though I have my headset on and I can barely hear it. So let me just pause for a sec. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. But you can hear me fine, right? Yeah, this has never happened before, and I don't know why it's doing that. Let me check my audio settings. I'm gonna come off the screen share for just a sec here and look at my audio settings and see what's going on.
Hey, Tone.
Hello.
Say a full sentence projecting your voice.
Hello, Tone. How are you today?
Yeah, it's not coming through. What the heck is going on? This is the last thing I need when we're trying to do this. Somebody give me a test 1, 2, 3 again. Please, can you guys help out?
1, 2, 3. Test. Did it
You may know
work?
why this would be happening. Like, I'm speaking through my headset and it's going to you guys fine, but when someone speaks, it's coming out of my display speakers instead of into my headset, and it's too hard for me to hear. What? Yeah, I even unplugged it and plugged it back in a minute ago. Wait a minute. Never mind. Okay. You guys can probably hear me better now too. Get into my headset. Okay, somebody give me a test 1, 2, 3 again.
Test 1, 2, 3.
One more time, same person.
Test 1, 2, 3.
One more time.
Test 1, 2, 3.
There we go. Okay, now I've got it. All right. Sorry to hijack your presentation there, guys. Okay, can we start task 2 over, please?
Sure.
Sorry about that, Katrina.
A dream deferred is compared to a dry raisin in the sun, a sore, rotten meat, syrup sweet, and a heavy load. The similes are describing when dreams are delayed. They are compared to rotting and decaying food, which is showing what happens to the person who doesn't go after their dreams. And the metaphor compares the deferred dream to a bomb, which is showing if they don't go after their dreams, then they don't grow as a person and it can make them want to explode.
Okay, so we notice that the whole poem is similes except for the last one, and that is a metaphor. Next slide.
Task 3. Literary devices. The author uses figurative language like similes and metaphors. The rhymes of
Who's
words like
talking? Okay.
the rhymes like sun, run, meat, and sweet in imagery. For example, dry up like a raisin in the sun and stink like rotten meat. Hughes uses these devices in order to capture the reader's attention and to allow the readers to picture what their dreams may be like. The figurative language gives the poem character and symbolizes the way the character wants us to remember how important it is to follow it.
The purpose of the poem Harlem is to inspire people to follow their dreams. This
Who's
is shown by
speaking?
me, Adam.
Me.
This is shown by the author describing what possibly happens to dreams that were never followed through with and tries to motivate people to not let that happen to their own dreams.
Oh, that's the last slide.
Yes.
So the end. Okay, give him a little clap, everybody. Thanks for going first. Okay, who's next? Did Maui get in? Yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah, I was hitting your button over and over again, man. I don't know what the problem was, but glad we finally got you in. All right, who's next? Groups 2, 3, or 4? I got to roll a die or something. All right, we'll just go in order.
I'll go. We'll go.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. So this is group number 3. And Ashley, I believe you were the one who shared it to me, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, give me just a sec here. I'll bring it up and then we'll go to I'll go back on the screen share. And which poem did you guys do? Is it hard? Let's see. No, we already did Harlem.
Like
Ashley, which poem was it?
the Lead and Seas one. The one with
What?
I don't know how to say it right because it's you say it different. It's like
You can't say the name of the poem that you did?
no, it's like the lead.
Jesus Christ.
The poem is from Lead and Seas.
Yeah.
Bereft?
Like,
Oh my God. All I want to know, all I want to
it
be
says
told.
from Lead and Seas.
What?
It says from yeah.
I'm on a different screen. I can't tell what you're saying, and I'm just trying to hear what the poem is. What's the poem?
There's from Lead and Seas.
Oh, it sifts from what? Okay. You're laughing so much, I can't tell what you're saying. All right, is that with Jordan and Isaiah? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
It sifts from leaden sieves. Okay, just for future reference. There you go. And thank you for volunteering. You were laughing and doing a bunch of long E's. I couldn't tell what was going on. And And share screen. And there we go. Let me get on the present mode. Okay, here we go.
Okay, this is Jordan talking.
Thanks, Jordan.
It sifts from leaden sieves, it powders all the wood, it fills with alabaster wool, the wrinkles of the road. It makes an even face of mountain and of plain, unbroken forehead from the east until the east again. It reaches to the fence, it wraps it rail by rail, till it is lost in fleeces. It deals celestial veil. To stump and stack and stem, a summer's empty room, acres of joints where harvests were, recordless but for them. It ruffles wrists of posts as ankles of a queen, then it steals its artisans like ghosts denying they have been.
Should I go ahead and move forward?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speaker occasion a tone. The speaker of this poem is Emily Dixon, who is sitting outside as she watches the snow. She explains all the impacts of the winter season, and the overall tone of this poem is calm and peaceful as she explains her love for the season.
Okay.
So this is Ashley, and I did the figurative language part. And so the green is, I said the figurative metaphor. It's summer's empty room is a metaphor referring to the gardens and fields that bloom in the summer that is only flattened by snow in the winter. And although the poem is talking about snow falling, which is a literal meaning, a figurative meaning can be the flower as snow is compared to the sieve as a sieve, which is what as the flower sifts through a snow. The flower and snow are compared. Anyway, the figurative and literal metaphor with the purple is as artisans are people who build things, the snowflakes are the artisans of snow. The ghosts are referring to the little people who are artisans making things that the snowflakes aren't living, however, still working as ghosts to make snow.
Next.
So this is talking about the structure and then the devices used.
Who's speaking, please?
Mowley.
Okay.
So the first stanza is about the beginning of like the snow coming down, and he compares that to sieves, which he gives the personifications of like sifts, and then he says it powders over the wood.
Okay, like it's actually doing something like a person, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it says that it makes an even. The second stanza is about like how it covers everything. So he says it makes an even face. That's also like personification. And then the third one is also about just covering everything.
Next slide.
Yeah.
So for the like devices and techniques continued,
okay.
We see that the through the third stanza or fourth stanza, the people work hard through the snow, which is showing the stump and stack and stem, and then the snow begins to melt away, which is that as ankles of a queen, and then artisans like ghosts showing that they like leave, and then it uses alliteration to show how hard the people work. It's done in a rhythmic way to imply cohesive effort, and then it uses a metaphor to describe the snow and simile to connect the tiny snowflakes to the ghostly artisans. And then it shifts because the first four stanzas, it's talking about just the snow in general and like kind of what it's doing, and then the last stanza goes in to specifically talk about the individual snowflakes.
Okay. Yeah, there's not as much of a turn or a shift in this poem, but if anything, you could kind of say that is okay. Fair enough.
The purpose of the poem is to describe snow and the winter scenery it creates. The detailed descriptions and figurative language helps the reader understand that it is actually snow, although it is not blatantly stated. There's no real moral of the story, but it is rather just a detailed and thought provoking poem by Emily Dickinson viewing the outdoors during the winter.
Okay, the end. Thanks, guys. I know there's one group that's not going to get to go in third bell today. So if we could have one more group go today, and then we could have our fourth presentation also on Wednesday, then we'll kind of even out. So is there one more of you guys who could go either group 2 or group 4 and go and get it over with today? Tails group, heads group 2, tails group 4. Tails group 4. And Anna, I believe you shared to me, right? And you guys had which poem?
Bright Star.
Or Taylor shared it to me. Okay. Just a sec here. All right, there we go. Bright Star, John Keats, one of them called the British Romantic Poets, early 19th century. Taylor, Tone, Kana, Andrew, Anna, and Ethan. And please
Bright
just
Star.
remember to say who you are when you start speaking, so I can keep track. Okay.
Tone.
Okay.
Bright Star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendor, hung aloft the night, and watching, with eternal lids apart, like nature's patient, sleepless eremite, the moving waters at the priest-like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing on the new soft fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love's ripening breast, to feel forever its salt fall and swell, awake forever in a sweet unrest, still, still to hear her tender taking breath, and so live ever, or else swoon to death.
Even speaking. Not much is known about
who's
who the speaker is.
who's speaking? Who's speaking here?
It's Ethan. Ethan.
Okay, go ahead.
Not much is really known of who the speaker is, but the speaker wishes that he was as eternal as a star, to keep watch as a sleepless and solitary hermit. Although while he longs for this unchanging state, he doesn't want to be alone.
This is Tony again. Not much is known about the occasion of the poem, but John Keats did provide information that the speaker is with his loved one at night.
It's Ethan again. The tone of the poem is pretty sad and depressed. The author expresses deep feelings toward his lover, like in the last line, and so live ever or else swoon to death. he's basically saying if he had to live without her, he would rather die.
Okay, next.
All right, this is Connor. So examples of figurative language. For literal, Keats describes bright star as hung aloft in the night, along with moving waters and round earth, which are all examples of literal descriptions within the poem, because those are all like literal things that those things do. And then for figurative, he uses personification throughout the poem. He describes the human qualities of the North Star and the waters by saying that the star watches the world from a distance and the water cleanses the shore. And then the main comparison subject of the poem is his lover's love to the unchangeableness of the North Star.
All right, this is Andrew. So for the structure, it's written as a Shakespearean sonnet with 14 lines split up into an octave and a sestet. There's a rhyme scheme found at the end of each line. You can see that in the end specifically. The beginning octave talks about Keats wishing to be like a star, and then the following sestet talks about him and how he would still rather have his human life with her. And then diction, he uses a abstract kind of diction because this idea of wanting to be like a star isn't something you talk about all the time. So, and then alliteration towards the end, line 11, to feel forever, it's soft, fall, and swell. There's alliteration with the letter F and S in there. And then that line is just talking about how his head is resting on the chest of his lover as she breathes, raising his head up and down. And he said this is something that's not going to last forever because he realizes he's going to die soon because, well, the next slide will say more about that, I think.
So the meaning of the poem, this is kind of like bits and pieces, and then I'll do an overall thing. So the star in the beginning doesn't move, and he's comparing it to the North Star. Stars are distant and lonely, but bring lots of admirers and are reliable to be present. He explains that he wants to love like a star, not to live forever because he believes that it would be too lonely, but to have strong, unchangeable love like the unchanging North Star. And then later on in the poem, he's talking about his lover breathing, which has a deeper meaning behind it because he was dying of tuberculosis. And so not only could he not be with her, but he was like listening to her do the thing that was going to end up killing him.
It's a very
Okay,
sad
this is
poem.
Anna.
Go ahead, Anna.
For the purpose and why, the purpose of this poem was as a declaration of his undying love. So Keats is saying that he would like to be steady and unchanging, but not lonely and isolated like a star is. And he compares stars to purity and cleanliness, but would rather choose to love than have that superiority. And we put, just as like a sentence to sum it up, he would rather love for the rest of his life than live forever and be alone, because he died young, so he lived the last of his years with his lover named Fanny. So
Yes, Fanny Braun. And even though he wasn't able to live long, even let alone not live forever, you know, he still realized that that was bad. That would be better than, you know, being something that wasn't really alive, because that's the only way that something can really, you know, last forever. You can't have both, right? And that's the kind of paradox he has there. All right, love to talk about these a little bit. We have one more on Wednesday. Just make sure and look over those assignments in AP Classroom. I've got to go because the next class should be starting right now. So thanks, guys. I know it's awkward to do that over Zoom.